where he reduced the corporate tax burden from 35% down to 20%. Huge, massive shift of resources into the hands of a concentrated few. We were all up in arms, everybody tweeted and Facebooked and lived about it and Instagrammed and all that kind of stuff. But very few people said, how are we going to get some of that money back into the hands of the people so that it benefits the majority and not the minority exclusively? And so what we said, of that tax reshifting, corporations in Florida were going to pull down a windfall of $6.3 billion out of nowhere. $6.3 billion in their pockets. Now, by the way, we don't have the only taxes that we have aside from sales taxes in this state and various fees is the corporate tax rate. And by the way, a lot of us don't realize that only 3% of companies in the state of Florida pay taxes. Only 3% pay taxes. These are the wealthiest corporations that exist. Our tax burden is less than that. The corporate tax rate in Florida is less than that of Alabama or Georgia, our two connecting states, right? Now, the argument that Republicans make is that if you raise corporate taxes, then you can't recruit corporations. Well, the California corporate tax is 8.8%, right? It's at the high water mark. Yet every one of us has a device, we got technology, we got brands and everything else, all of them out of California. And by the way, the corporate taxes in California are applied whether you're headquartered there or not. If you have a business, you pay the corporate tax rate in that state. So 3% pay in this state. 6.3 billion goes to them. And so all we said is, can we get 1 billion? Can we get 1 billion of that by increasing the corporate tax rate to generate $1 billion to go toward infrastructure, access to early childhood education, teacher salaries, and what we have been referring to as SHOP 2.0, a reintegration of apprenticeship trainings right back here into our high school system. Not as specialty schools alone, but offering trainings across platforms. Now, Democrats are as squeamish about taxes as anybody I've ever seen, and I've heard from them. Wow, you can't talk about taxes. I said, we were just screaming about the reshifting of this the other day. We absolutely can talk about it, and what we're talking about is that everybody has to pay their fair share. Working people pay their fair share. People who are consumers, many of them workers. The tax that having a plane gets you a corporate tax break, but going to get some milk and eggs and other households, like you pay your fair share. So everybody, in my opinion, has to pay their fair share. Now, in this state, that will require beating the legislature into some simplicity here, right? If they remain under Republican control, which I hope they don't, we're going to have to figure out a way to work with them. But if they refuse, we'll do exactly what Ruben Askew did when he established the corporate tax rate in the first place. He ran on the ballot and put the corporate tax rate on the ballot for re-election right alongside him. That's courage. And he dared the Florida voters to vote against it, and overwhelmingly we established a corporate tax in this state. So it's been done before. We should be less squeamish about it. We should be proud to say that everybody has to pay their fair share. Because you want to know something? If you're a corporation and you're looking at states to go to, you're not just looking at whether or not it is a favorable tax environment. You also want to know, if you relocate there, is there a good education system? Will I be able to find the employees who are skilled for the task? What's the quality of life like for my employees? Do they get access to safe streets and safe neighborhoods and so on and so forth? Well, that costs money, right? We've got to be able to produce that. And if we can generate that kind of stuff, an education system in the third largest state that is not ranked 37 out of 50th, but is at the top, that isn't a state where teachers won't go into the profession, where we've got a nursing shortage in the state, where we have a housing crisis in the state, where we don't have 21st century transportation because all we rely on is roads, and we refuse to take $1.3 billion from the Obama administration to build high-speed rail across the I-4. Those are the that's what corporations want to know, is if we locate there, will we find the talent? Will they get a good quality of life? Are they a 21st century state? What does that look like? And we can't build that on the backs of working and poor people alone. Corporations have to pay their fair share. And so how do we meet those obligations? Everybody pays their fair share. They can keep $5.3 billion. We just want $1 to reinvest into the people of the state of Florida.